my height. I'm not 5'8". I'm 6 foot 250 plus. Anybody who ever takes pictures with me in person, go ahead and verify that, because we need people to stop just making up their fictional tales that make their loser asses feel better.
Wes Watson wants you to believe he's the world's toughest man, an ex-convict turned millionaire motivational guru. He commands attention with his screaming videos, chiseled physique, and unrelenting persona of discipline, masculinity, and hustle. On the surface, Watson's story is one of redemption. A man who survived the crucible of prison, transformed his life, and built an empire through sheer willpower. But behind the Instagram posturing, rented Lamborghinis, and tales of hooped paperwork lies a far less glamorous truth, a man built on lies, rage, and a very public downward spiral. This is the story of how Wes Watson became the internet's worst fake alpha male, a cautionary tale of bravado, manipulation, and self-destruction. Born in 1983 in San Diego, California, Wes Watson crafts a narrative of a man forged by adversity. He claims he grew up in poverty, hustling from the age of 11, running massive drug operations by his teens, and ultimately landing in prison for a decade. It's a story designed to inspire awe, a tale of a street-smart kid who rose from nothing to become a kingpin, only to fall and rise again as a motivational titan. But from the very beginning, the details don't add up. Watson's claims of being a preteen drug lord strain credulity. Entry-level dealers, let alone middle schoolers, don't move bulk weight or orchestrate sophisticated operations. In one interview, he boasts of running drugs like a young El Chapo, yet in others he contradicts himself, admitting he started dealing to fund his own addiction. His stories shift depending on the audience, a pattern that becomes a hallmark of his persona. He describes his father as a hard-working man, but resents him for not earning enough to provide a luxurious life. He claims to have lived in opulence before prison, yet court records and associates paint a picture of a man couch surfing, mooching off girlfriends and scraping by. Even his prison sentence, central to his brand, is exaggerated. He claims 10 years, but public records show he served closer to 8 from 2009 to 2017 for a violent robbery. The robbery itself dismantles the myth of Wes as a criminal mastermind. In 2009, Watson and an accomplice beat and robbed a man over drug money, then burglarized his home. Court documents reveal Watson initiated the assault, acting as muscle for a deal gone wrong. He wasn't a kingpin orchestrating empires. He was a desperate addict, erratic and violent. When questioned by police, he produced a flimsy alibi, claiming he lived with a couple at the time of the crime. The timeline didn't hold up, and a photo he submitted as evidence showed him with hair, despite having shaved his head during the robbery. The lie was amateurish, and it landed him in prison. Prison, Wes claims, was his crucible. He found God, fitness, and purpose behind bars. He read books of motivational quotes, literally collections of platitudes, and trained obsessively, sculpting his body into a symbol of discipline. Upon release in 2017, he moved into his grandmother's house in San Diego and began building an online brand. Armed with a smartphone and a chip on his shoulder, Watson started posting raw, unfiltered videos on YouTube and Instagram. He recounted prison war stories, screamed motivational mantras, and railed against modern men for their weakness. His style was abrasive but magnetic, resonating with an audience hungry for authenticity in a world of polished influencers. Watson's early content was undeniably compelling. His tales of surviving prison fights, navigating gang politics, and enduring solitary confinement captivated viewers who had never heard such unvarnished stories. He collaborated with other prison content creators like Larry Lawton, and his videos racked up millions of views. By 2019, he had built a loyal following and a lucrative coaching business, Watson Fit, promising to transform lives through fitness, mindset, and hustle. He positioned himself as the ultimate alpha male, tough, disciplined, and unapologetic. For a while it worked. His screaming delivery, paired with his chiseled physique, made him stand out in a crowded motivational space. But as his fame grew, so did the cracks in his facade. As Watson's prison stories dried up, his content pivoted to generic hustle bro rhetoric, rented luxury cars, staged photos in lavish houses, and aggressive sales pitches for his coaching programs. He promised wealth, confidence, and transformation through packages costing thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. His flagship program, Watson Fit, offered personalized training and mentorship, marketed as a path to becoming an alpha like Wes. But clients soon discovered the reality was far less glamorous. Reddit threads, YouTube exposés, and online forums began documenting the experiences of disillusioned clients. Many described cookie-cutter workout plans that ignored individual needs or injuries, paired with recycled advice: starve yourself, lift heavy, and emulate Wes's intensity. High-tier mentorship packages costing upwards of $25,000 often included no direct access to Wes himself. Instead, clients received pre-recorded videos or brief calls with junior coaches. When clients questioned the value or requested refunds, Wes's response was predictable: insults, blocks, and refusal to return their money. One user, known as Dutch Demon on Reddit, detailed how Wes strung him along for months with promises of personal coaching, only to ghost him when it was too late to dispute the charges.
I was sitting there on the phone with her, and while our phone call, I look over to a guy next to me who's staring at the side of my head. And I go, "Hey, homie, the fuck you looking at? You gonna just stare at the side of my head, motherfucker?"
It became clear that Watson's business model was less about transformation and more about exploitation. He preyed on vulnerable men, those desperate for purpose, confidence, or a sense of belonging, charging exorbitant fees for generic advice that boiled down to scream louder and do more push-ups. Some likened his operation to a pyramid scheme, with clients encouraged to recruit others into the program. The more scrutiny his business faced, the more erratic Wes became, lashing out at critics on social media and doubling down on his alpha persona. While Watson's professional life unraveled, his personal life was equally chaotic. In 2022, his wife Valerie accused him of domestic abuse. She claimed he assaulted her multiple times, kicked her out of their shared home, and replaced her with a new partner within days. Initially, Valerie withheld evidence, citing ongoing legal proceedings, but in 2024 she released photos of bruises, a video of Wes screaming outside a bathroom, and allegations that he kicked her in the head. Wes denied the accusations, claiming they were fabricated by a vengeful ex, but the pattern was undeniable. Soon after, another woman, Morgan, came forward with similar claims: verbal abuse, emotional manipulation, and accusations of steroid use and racism. She shared videos of Wes filming himself while driving with a baby in the back seat, prioritizing content creation over safety. Morgan alleged he pressured her to play the role of a perfect partner on social media, curating an image of a happy family that didn't exist. Then came Angie, another girlfriend, with another story of verbal and physical abuse. Each woman described a man obsessed with control, quick to anger, and prone to taking back gifts when relationships soured. Some even referenced his bizarre fixation with hooping, a prison term for hiding items internally, which Wes bragged about in videos, encouraging others to follow suit. What started as a meme became a disturbing symbol of his unhinged persona. By 2024, Watson's online empire was crumbling. His attempts to maintain his alpha image only amplified his desperation. He flaunted rented Lamborghinis, reposted heavily filtered photos, and insisted he was making millions, but the facade was thinning. His behavior grew increasingly erratic, from lashing out on Instagram Live to confronting critics in person. A pivotal moment came during his appearance on the Fresh and Fit podcast in 2024, where he debated Andrew Wilson from The Crucible. The exchange was a disaster. Unable to articulate his worldview beyond shouting and personal attacks, Wes threatened violence and rambled about his wealth. Wilson calmly dismantled his arguments, exposing his lack of substance. Clips of the debate went viral, with YouTuber MoistCR1TKL roasting Wes in a video that garnered millions of views. Humiliated, Wes went private on Instagram shortly after. The final blow came when Wes invited critics to confront him at his gym. He made multiple videos daring Redditors to show up, promising a fair fight. Someone took him up on the offer, and the result was chilling. Instead of a one-on-one, Wes attacked the man with a weight belt, had friends restrain him, and beat him over 50 times, kicking him in the head and pulling his hair. Police body cam footage later captured Wes bragging about the assault, only to backtrack when confronted, claiming he feared for his life before boasting he'd kill someone next time. He was arrested in early 2025, and his mugshot listed his height at 5 feet 8 inches, a stark contrast to his online claim of 6 feet. The discrepancy became a meme, but it symbolized something deeper, the gap between Wes's persona and reality. Wes Watson still has defenders, fans who insist he changed their lives, motivated them to get fit, or inspired them to hustle. But the truth is undeniable. Wes never changed. The anger, lies, and insecurity that defined his past never left. His empire was built on manipulation, preying on the vulnerable with promises he couldn't keep. His relationships were marred by abuse, his business a house of cards. Behind the screaming alpha mask was a scared, insecure man trying to convince himself he was worth something. Wes Watson isn't just the internet's worst fake alpha male. He's a cautionary tale of what happens when bravado outpaces authenticity. Prison may have given him a second chance, but instead of reform, he carried forward a blueprint for manipulation. When your words lack substance, your business is smoke and mirrors, and your relationships are toxic, there's nothing alpha about you. In the end, the screaming stops, the lights fade, and all that's left is a broken man with hooped paperwork, shouting into the void, hoping someone still believes him.